Everyone says that talent is everything, that the best athletes are naturally gifted, the best musicians were born with it, the best entrepreneurs just have some special wiring that the rest of us don't. But if talent was the deciding factor, there wouldn't be thousands of incredibly talented people living ordinary lives, as well as there wouldn't be countless quote unquote untalented people who became exceptional. Because when you look closely at greatness, there's usually one thing hiding underneath it all, and that is obsession. Talent is one of the most dangerous ideas we tell ourselves. Not because talent doesn't exist, but because people use it as an explanation for everything. When someone is successful, we call them talented. When someone isn't, we assume that they are untalented, that they lack talent. It's a simple story, and it's too simple actually, because it ignores all the boring things that actually create results, like the hours, the repetition, the failures, the years no one was watching. And because of that, people give up on things they might have become great at. They try something once, they're not immediately good, they then come to the conclusion that maybe they don't have the talent for this, or they're not capable of achieving this. Simultaneously, some naturally gifted people fall into the opposite trap, where things come easily early on. And because of that, they get comfortable, they become complacent, and eventually they get passed by people who simply refuse to stop improving. And that just goes to show that either way, talent becomes a distraction from the thing that actually matters. The truth is that mastery rarely starts with talent. It starts with fascination. A person becomes interested, then curious, then invested, and then obsessed. And that's where everything changes. Because obsession solves a problem most people can never solve, which is consistency. The average person has to force themselves to practice, while the obsessed person can't wait to get back to practicing. The obsessed person is thinking about their pursuit in the shower, before bed, while driving. They're studying it for fun, practicing when nobody asks them to. And it's not because they are more disciplined, but because they are consumed by it. And over time, that obsession creates something really incredibly powerful. More reps, more mistakes, more learning, more improvement. And eventually, the gap will become impossible to ignore. What looks like talent is often just thousands of invisible repetitions. So, if obsession matters more than talent, how do you actually use this idea in your own life? One, stop asking what you're good at. Most people choose pursuits based on immediate results. They try something, they're bad at it, and they move on. But the thing is that being naturally good at something isn't always a reliable indicator of what you're meant to pursue. Instead of doing that, ask yourself, what am I willing to be bad at for an unusually long time? And this is because every meaningful skill comes with a beginner phase, a frustrating phase, an embarrassing phase. And if you're only willing to continue when you're getting rewarded, you'll quit before obsession even has a chance to develop. The people who eventually become great aren't necessarily the ones who started with talent. They're the ones who stuck out long enough to improve. Number two, follow curiosity, not passion. People talk about passion as if it's something you discover one day. Like one day you'll wake up and suddenly know exactly what you're meant to do. But for most people, that's not how it works. Passion usually starts with curiosity, a small interest, something that catches your attention more than other things. And the more you spend around it, the stronger your interest becomes. Then curiosity turns into enjoyment. Enjoyment becomes commitment, and commitment becomes obsession. So instead of trying to find your life's purpose, just follow what naturally pulls your attention. Read about it, watch videos about it, experiment with it, and actually give it time to grow. Number three, prioritize reps over motivation. Most people think that progress comes from massive, intense effort, one perfect workout, or one productive weekend, one burst of motivation. But obsession is built through repetition. It's not built through intensity. It's built through continuing to do the reps every day. It's built through the boring discipline, the boring consistency. The more frequently one engages with something, the more familiar it becomes to them. The more familiar it becomes, the more invested they become. And the more invested they become, the easier it is to keep going. And that's why consistency matters so much. Not because it's impressive, but because every repetition strengthens your connection to the thing that you're doing. One page every day beats trying to read an entire book in a day or in 1 week. One workout every day beats destroying yourself once a week. Obsession grows through repetition and consistency. Consistency over intensity. And number four, learn to enjoy the process of getting better. Most people focus on outcomes, the money, the recognition, the trophies, the finished result, you know? But those things happen too slowly to keep you motivated. If your happiness depends entirely on reaching the destination, you will burn out before you even get there. Instead, start paying attention to small improvements. The workout that feels easier, the skill that used to be difficult but now it feels natural. Those tiny wins create momentum, and momentum is fuel for obsession. And this is because once you start to see the progress, you want to see more. Therefore, you will continue to do more, continue to put in the reps so that you can see more progress. And that is how obsession comes about. Maybe, talent matters to some degree. Maybe some people actually start, 10 steps ahead. But obsession has a very funny way of making starting points irrelevant. Because while everyone else is wondering if they're talented enough, the obsessed individual is already getting another rep in. They're already putting in extra work while everyone else is thinking, oh, am I capable enough? Am I talented enough? And after enough reps, nobody remembers who was talented. They only remember who actually became great. And that's all I really have for today. And I really hope that this one was impactful, positively impactful. And I hope that this was meaningful in some way and helpful. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye bye.